begin in 5 moments, the mindless voice announced. All those unseated will await the next show.
LA Woman was like coming home, and it was simple and bluesy and just, it was the bare bones, the essence of what we were about. And rock and roll was supposed to be out of a garage.
The record has that kind of a feel to it, you know. It's almost like a jam, you know. That was probably the most fun album to make.
Don't you love her face? Don't you love her as she's walking out the door?
1970. We had one last album to go, and this could be our last album. We're going to make the album in this Zen moment in time. We didn't discuss the future. The future's uncertain. The end is always near.
Riders on the storm. Riders on the storm.
This was the album that wrapped it all up in a neat bow and presented the Doors' essence to you personally. They found a unity that was exactly what they needed to show people, to show their audience that they still had what everyone originally loved them for.
Musically, I just think it holds up. It's, 40 years later, and it's still a fantastic record.
I'm telling you that right now there is a 16, 17, 18-year-old kid who is listening to the Doors for the first time as a new band and is getting his or her mind blown.
You know the day destroys the night, night divides the day. Try to run, try to hide, break on through to the other side, break on through to the other side, break on through to the other side, yeah.
We were a four-man band. I always thought of us as something like the modern jazz quartet of rock and roll.
Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire.
The Doors sunk themselves very deeply into the cultural history of not only rock and roll, but of the United States.
They had established themselves in the American consciousness. They had established themselves as special.
By the time we get to 69, the Doors had achieved probably continental notoriety.
Father, yes, son, I want to kill you.
We were just the filthy, dirty Doors.
I don't think they sought notoriety, but it sure did come to them.
Mother.
After all, where does the name The Doors come from? It comes from Aldous Huxley's book, The Doors of Perception. And that comes from a line by William Blake. If the doors of perception were cleansed, man would see things as they are, ... infinite.
Hey, you mama! All night long! Be wet, mama! Gonna love you, baby, all night, yeah!
There was an entire new culture being born. It was called a counterculture, but we always thought it was the new culture to come. It was the culture of the 21st century.
But they were working on an intellectual and lyrical level that was higher than most other people. And, I mean, they were, to me, right up there with the Beatles and Dylan.
Jim led with his poetry. You know, he wasn't waving a flag and saying, "Follow me." He reached into your heart and your spine and shook you hard and made you figure out who you were and what mattered to you.
When you're strange, faces come out of the rain. When you're strange, tell me your name. Hello, I love you, let me jump in your game.
We consider ourselves more a mirror of society, you know. We were just commenting on what was going on.
There were more things to explore. It was just beginning. I thought, okay, we've done 3 albums in exactly the same setting, the same configuration. Let's bring in the horn players and the string players.
The idea of strings and horns was something Ray and I talked about before we even made our first album, because we love jazz. And it's something we wanted to experiment with and go through.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, now touch me, babe. Can't you see that I am not afraid? What was that promise that you made? Why won't you tell me what she said? What was that promise that you made?
They have success. They have hit records. They have records that people think are crap. You know, they've actually done, you know, the lifetime of experience compressed into less than 4 years. What they did first on Morrison Hotel and then on L.A. Woman was they went back to blues.
I'll keep your eyes on the road, your hand upon the wheel. Keep your eyes on the road, your hand upon the wheel. Yeah, we're going to the roadhouse, gonna have a real good time.
They were a band appropriate to their times that were on the edge of whatever was happening. And the edge is the place you always want to be.
This is Changeling. This is the first song we recorded, and it turned out to be the first song on the album.
They come out with this great kick-ass rocker called the Changeling. And the first thing you hear Jim Morrison say is, "Get loose." Okay, I'm ready to get loose. Let's see what you got.
I think in a way it anticipates his leaving. You know, he's been through all this stuff. What else can you do as the singer in a rock band?
I live uptown. I live downtown. I live all around.
He's always talking about himself, that he's a changeling in that song. He's just expressing what was going to happen. He was telling everybody, this is it. You're going to see me change.
I had money. I had none. But I never been so broke that I couldn't leave. Now I'm a changeling. See me change. I'm a change.
We had been shot down in the streets in Kent State. Bobby Kennedy was dead. Martin Luther King was dead. Our great leaders of peace had been assassinated. It was a terrible time.
The racial problems in the United States were reaching ahead, and in 1970 there was the invasion of Cambodia. That was the same year that L.A. Woman was made.
Vietnam was really heating up. We were trying to get out. There were riots in the streets. A madness had swept across America.
Jim felt that you change inside, and then that'll change the world. He was not too much on overt politics. But we were at the center of the cyclone.
The Changeling, to me, represented and spoke to all these things that we've been going through for the last few years, and the changes in America, and the fact that we were the changeling.
Janis Joplin died later in the year, and Jimi Hendrix died later in the year, both of overdoses. And Jim was overdosing himself on his drug, which was alcohol.
But I never been so broke that I couldn't leave.
Morrison, he'd been arrested. He had been in court. He'd been crazy drunk.